The headline today: he was deported back to Venezuela and started anew. Then the Quakes hit. This is a story about one man, but it captures something much larger: the intersection of migration, deportation, and disaster, all landing on one family at once. Jorge Erazo was 35 years old, a former dockworker from Venezuela. He fled his country after running into trouble with local criminals, lived for a time in Chile, then made the dangerous crossing through the jungle in Colombia and Panama, a journey he described to friends as one where he would cry alone in the jungle. He entered the United States in early 2021, part of a massive wave of Venezuelans seeking asylum, and eventually landed in Doral, Florida, a city in South Florida where about 40% of the population traces its roots to Venezuela. There, he found work remodeling homes. His boss and friend, John Mendoza, described him simply: "He's such a hard worker." Erazo sent money back to his wife and 2 young children, who were living in Peru at the time. Late last year, he moved to Orlando because the cost of living was cheaper. Then, according to his friends, he was stopped by a local police officer outside a Walmart, detained, and ultimately deported, despite a pending asylum claim and a valid work permit. But here's the part that makes this story cut even deeper. Erazo wasn't devastated. With the money he had earned in the United States, he bought an apartment in La Guaira, the port city just outside Caracas, Venezuela's capital. He reunited with his wife and his kids, ages 12 and 6. He was starting over, on his own terms. Then, late on Wednesday night, 2 earthquakes rocked Venezuela. Buildings toppled. Roads buckled. And the apartment Jorge Erazo had bought with his American earnings, the one where he and his family were sleeping, is believed to have collapsed. Back in Doral, his friends posted flyers and photos of Erazo and his family online, desperate for any word. Andrea Aguirre, the wife of his former employer, said she heard from neighbors in Venezuela that Erazo and his family had perished. But his mother, Tania Gonzalez, speaking by phone from Venezuela, said she still hadn't received any official confirmation. Cousins on motorbikes drove past the building and saw it had fallen. Family members were checking hospitals and morgues. "We don't know if he's alive or dead," she said. Meanwhile, across South Florida, the Venezuelan community was in crisis mode. Alondra Becerra, a 25-year-old server in Doral, went on Instagram pleading for help. Her 47-year-old sister Karina had been asleep on the 5th floor of an apartment building in La Guaira when it collapsed, trapped under the rubble with her 2 small dogs. Karina was responsive. She could be heard calling back to rescuers, but she couldn't move. By Thursday evening, there was a sliver of relief. Karina had been pulled out, though she was in critical condition. Others rushed to Walmart, not to flee, but to donate. Bottled water, bandages, diapers, hydrogen peroxide, loading them onto trucks bound for Venezuela. "We're trying to do what we can from here," said Alexandra Puyo, 28, hauling packages of water to a non-profit aid group. The sense of impotence and despair is enormous. That word impotence says a lot. For thousands of Venezuelans in South Florida, many of whom are separated from their families by immigration policy, by deportation, by poverty, by distance, watching disaster unfold on a phone screen with no way to help is its own particular kind of suffering. Jorge Erazo survived the jungle. He survived the crossing. He survived deportation and built something new. Whether he survived the earthquake, as of Thursday night, no one yet knew. This has been your update. Stay informed, and hold close the people you love.